There is a desperation in the chase that betrays the very thing we seek. When we run after what we desire, we become servants to our own longing, slaves to outcomes beyond our control. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern hearts have forgotten. True power lies not in pursuit, but in presence. Not in chasing, but in becoming. When Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." He was revealing the secret that desperation blinds us to. Belongs to you will find you, but only when you stop running from yourself. The chase creates anxiety because it places your worth in another's hands. It transforms you from a sovereign being into a beggar, pleading for scraps of attention, validation, or love. But the Stoic knows that external circumstances cannot define internal worth. When you chase, you signal scarcity. When you attract, you embody abundance. The difference is not in what you do, but in who you become. The greatest magnetism comes from emotional mastery, not emotional chaos. When Seneca taught that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, he understood that true strength emerges from the ability to let go, to remain centered when everything around you shifts. The person who can maintain their composure while others lose theirs, who can remain calm in the storm of rejection or uncertainty, possesses a power that cannot be taught or faked. This is the power of the Stoic mind. You do not chase because you do not need to. You're emotional. Sovereignty is your greatest asset. It draws toward you those who recognize authentic strength. There is profound wisdom in the ability to walk away. Not from spite or anger, but from self-respect. When you can turn your back on what does not serve you, you demonstrate something rare in this world, the knowledge of your own value. Epictetus, who knew the depths of powerlessness as a slave, discovered that true freedom comes from understanding what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control another's response, but you can control your own standards. When you walk away from what diminishes you, you create space for what elevates you. The Stoic does not cling. He releases with dignity. Patience is magnetic because it signals confidence in your own destiny. In a world of instant gratification and desperate grasping, the person who can wait demonstrates faith in the natural order of things. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that confine yourself to the present. Understanding that anxiety about the future or regret about the past only weakens your position in the now. When you are patient, you are not passive. You are actively trusting in the process of alignment. What is meant for you will not pass you by. And what is not meant for you will only waste your time if you chase it. The focus must shift from begging to becoming. When you beg for someone's attention, time, or love, you position yourself as lacking. But when you focus on becoming the person you are meant to be, you position yourself as complete. The Stoic understands that external validation is a trap that leads to eternal dissatisfaction. Seneca wrote, "What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality," and this truth applies to every aspect of life. Instead of asking, "How can I get them to notice me?" ask, "How can I become someone worth?" Noticing the answer will transform not just your circumstances, but your entire relationship with desire itself. Do not seek to be sought after. Become worthy of being sought. There is a subtle but crucial difference between manufacturing attraction and naturally embodying it. When you try to make yourself attractive to others, you are performing. When you become attractive through your own development, you are simply being. The Stoic develops virtue not to impress others, but because virtue is its own reward. Yet this authentic development creates a natural magnetism that cannot be replicated through manipulation or strategy. People are drawn to those who are complete within themselves, who do not need external validation to feel whole. Nature operates through alignment, not force. Watch how a river flows around obstacles rather than fighting them. Observe how the sun rises each morning without strain or effort. The natural world teaches us that true power comes from working with the fundamental forces of existence, not against them. When you try to force outcomes, you create resistance. When you align with what is natural and right, you create flow. The Stoic trusts in the logos. the rational principle that governs the universe. What is meant to be, will be, and your job is not to force it, but to prepare yourself to receive it. Sometimes absence creates more value than presence. When you remove yourself from situations that do not honor your worth, you create a vacuum that draws attention to what was lost. But this is not a strategy. It is a natural consequence of self-respect. The Stoic does not withdraw to manipulate others, but to honor himself. Yet this withdrawal often accomplishes what desperate pursuit never could. It demonstrates that you value your own time and energy, and this valuation teaches others to value it as well. There is a power in silence that words cannot match. In a world full of noise, the person who can remain silent commands attention. In a culture of over-explanation, the person who can let their actions speak commands respect. The Stoic understands that not everything needs to be said, and not every situation requires your input. Sometimes the most profound statement you can make is no statement at all. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates desire. When you are comfortable with silence, you are comfortable with yourself. What is meant for you cannot be taken from you, just as what is not meant for you cannot be kept by you. This truth liberates you from the anxiety of loss and the desperation of pursuit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate associates you." This is not passive resignation, but active acceptance of the natural order. When you truly understand this principle, you stop fighting reality and start dancing with it. You stop chasing and start attracting. The Stoic does not chase because he understands that true power comes from within. He does not beg because he knows his worth is not determined by another's recognition. He does not plead because he trusts. In the process of natural alignment, instead he develops his character, refines his virtues, and strengthens his mind. He creates value in himself and trusts that this value will be recognized by those who are meant to recognize it. What belongs to you will find you, but only when you stop running from yourself. When you stop chasing shadows and start building substance, when you stop begging for scraps and start preparing for abundance, the universe conspires to bring you what you need, but you must be ready to receive it. And readiness comes not from desperation, but from preparation. It's not from chasing, but from becoming. If it does not come to you naturally, it was never truly yours. If it requires you to abandon your dignity, it was never worth having. If it demands that you become less than, you are. It was never meant for you. The Stoic knows this, accepts this, and finds peace in this knowledge. He does not chase because he does not need to. He attracts because he cannot help but attract. This is the way of the wise, the path of the strong, and the secret of those who understand that true power lies not in pursuit but in presence.